Great to be here. I'm, I think, one of the last speakers before lunch, which is great because I wasn't sure if I had 20 minutes with my slide deck, so now if I'm early, no one's mad at me. So let's get started. I'm going to start by asking a question. What is this? Anyone? Cursor. Anything else? A prompt, great. I would argue this is the most powerful UX in the world right now. It looks like something out of 1989 MS-DOS, but it's the most powerful UX in the world right now. We go back, you guys have all used every chatbot, every AI-first application imaginable, and you just look at some of these. This is from one of my friends, Jacqueline's, who does a newsletter based on this. Just all the different prompts that are out there. When you go to any news site these days that are AI first, you basically get asked a question. What do you want to do? What can I help you with? How can you discover something different? The prompt is the most powerful UX in the world right now. I used it. I thought of the most craziest thing I could think of, a sentence that has never been uttered in the history of mankind. Create an image of a unicorn drinking a rainbow milkshake, playing a harp in the cloud city surrounded by ex-presidents. I have no idea where that came from. It just was the craziest thing I could think of. And within a minute, I received a new drawing. You guys have all played with it, maybe even crazier ideas, right? But something crazy. But it's not just fun and games. My wife has spent 25 years in the hotel and event industry, recently launched her own company. Big step for her, first-time entrepreneur. I helped her build a website with an app called Lovable, just with prompts only. I think people are calling it vibe coding, right? Simply with prompts. She had a brand new website that was able to help her launch her business. I didn't write a single line of code. Everything, even some of the text and the marketing copy, was built through Lovable. So it's amazing concepts we can do. And when I'm here basically asking from a publisher's perspective, what can we learn from this powerful prompt UX? So before we get into that, I'll talk a little bit about myself. I think of myself having as two careers and sort of combining them together right now. I spent about 10 years early in my career in B2B media, working for companies like Ziff Davis, Penton. I've seen some colleagues from there before, some startups. I then spent 10 years at Google, working on a few products, which I'll talk about next. And now I'm the chief product officer at Northstar, which is a B2B media company, right? And so the difference from my early career is I'm trying to take the knowledge I learned about B2B early in my career and combine it with the data and AI first principles that I learned at Google. And so we're applying it to Northstar. For those that don't know of Northstar, we've been a longtime Omeda customer. We are a traditional B2B media company in the travel space. You recognize some of our brands. We cover 360 degrees of the travel industry, but focused on travel professionals, the professionals that really drive the industry. Everything from travel advisors, travel agents, professional meeting planners. Anyone in travel, they come to Northstar for the information that they need. But first, I want to talk about my time at Google. So like I said, I was in B2B. I was a VP at some companies, had big teams, launching, dozens of websites, dozens of data products, big scope. My first 9 months at Google, I was told to launch a checkbox. That was the only thing that I was supposed to do, was launch a single checkbox at Google. Now, it turns out that checkbox was one of many checkboxes. It was part of AdWords. This is a fake slide, but you guys have all used AdWords. You get the idea, right? There's literally dozens and dozens of checkboxes. Each of them do one thing or the other, right? So this is what advertising works. But after a few years launching checkboxes in AdWords, I was looking for something more exciting to do at Google. So I was lucky enough. I was one of the founding members of the Google Assistant team. I'm sure you guys have all used Google Assistant or Alexa, right? Very similar. And there is where we really started with this idea of the prompt. Looks a little different back then. This is probably from 2017, this image. But still the same concept. It's not asking you to, with a really predefined set of options, it's giving you the world of possibilities. How can I help you? How can I do anything for you? What do you want to do today is basically the concept. And what I've learned is, even today, advertising still often looks like this, with a bunch of drop-down lists, a bunch of checkboxes, a bunch of finely constrained options, but the rest of the world's evolved to a prompt of open questions, no limitations. So I ask again, what can we, as publishers, learn from this powerful UX? So I talked about Google. You guys are very familiar with it. I'll talk about Northstar next. And for most of this audience, you guys, if you don't know Northstar directly, you know what we do, right? We are all about audience at our core. As I said, we've been a Omeda customer for years. We've done a great job. Roberta on my team has done a great job of sort of building the audience database with Omeda at its core. We track unknown users that we call ID'd users, but more importantly, the known users, getting a lot of demographic and firmographic information about these users. And what we do then is we actually can monetize these users very well because they are the professionals in the travel industry, and connecting them to our advertisers is what we do, and we do it really well. But with AI, we can actually do it better. Because traditionally, advertisers would reach B2B audiences through a media kit, right? Do you want to buy this print ad? Do you want to buy this banner? It's evolved, right, to more series of complicated checkboxes aligning with more programmatic strategies, but it's still not the prompt that we have today. So I ask again, why does advertising look like this when the rest of the world has evolved to more open prompts? So I'd argue, and this is something that my CEO and I talk quite about, is there's two questions that matter in advertising. What's your objective? And who's your target audience? And today, those are mostly answered with checkboxes or drop-downs. But I'd argue those should be answered with prompts, and that's exactly what we're building at Northstar, is how do we understand what our customers truly want, not through a series of checkboxes, but by asking them, what's your objective? And I don't mean an objective is, I want clicks or I want page views. It's like, actually, what are you trying to do? Who are you trying to reach? It's not that I want people to view my webinar. It's we are Carnival Cruise Lines. We are launching a new cruise from Seattle to Alaska. We need engaged travel bookers or travel agents who are likely to sell this cruise line. That gives us so much more rich information of what we can do. I'll talk about an example from Google. When going back to the Google Assistant, we use the Google Assistant to replace IVR systems and phone calls. You know, when you call up a company, press 1 for this, press 2 for this. It just turned out that when we actually had a human-sounding voice, still, obviously AI-powered, you could cut down 3 minutes on the call. Because what would happen is when you ask a question of what's your objective or what can I help you with, people actually tell you what they want to do. You don't have to go through step 1, step 2, step 3. So you're cutting down time for the customer, and more importantly, you're getting to the heart of the matter. There's also the concept of who is your target audience. Once again, a lot of checkboxes today. I want 35 to 44-year-old females who live in West Coast, et cetera, et cetera. That's not really who your target audience is. Those are checkboxes. Your target audience are people that are going to book luxury travel in Seattle. They may fit a wide range of demographics. By telling us more, using rich, real, natural language of who your target audience is, we can then actually match it better. So I guess the question is, how? What I find most fascinating is that the simple, most powerful UX requires a ton of powerful AI and data to make it work. And that's what we built at Northstar, with the help of Omeda, with the help of our friends at Leverage Labs that are here today as well. We've built robust data lake capturing all of our audience demographic information, their firmographic information. And we're also building in the behavioral data. We're capturing millions and millions and millions of behavioral data each month. Each data point that might seem innocuous, might seem like a grain of sand as an individual data point, but in aggregate, it matches up to pretty powerful systems. So on top of that data layer that's growing and getting more intelligent every day, we're building what we'll call an intelligence layer, but it's really AI that can tell us how best to reach our customers. We have segmentation. So So we can take our audience and group them into multiple affinity segments based on the interest that they have shown through all of these behavioral signals. We can also segment them by the by the demographic and the firmographic signals that we so traditionally do today. We also have scoring, understanding, is this user more likely to interact with, say, a newsletter, a social media post, our content? That's all AI built on top of data. And then we have prediction. If I show this user this ad at this time, what's the likelihood that they are going to actually engage with it? All of this models, built on AI, built on top of data, helps us serve our audience better and our advertisers better because we actually know what they want. It's not just a bunch of checkboxes. And the last layer is what's most important, is actually the activation layer. So this is not just an advertising platform. This powers our entire digital business, making sure that every time a user interacts with Northstar, they are getting, I don't want to just say a personalized experience, but an experience that is tailor-made to combine what their interests are and then also make sure it aligns with how we can best connect our advertisers and our audience together at that real time. Once again, using the data signals, using the AI that we have on top of it, but also truly understanding the objectives and the target audience that was given to us in a powerful UX. So, final slide. I am going to be early. We're going to eat early today. Good, good. We can use the data and AI that allows, but many other of the B2C companies are out there are using this powerful UX. I think the data and AI as the foundation for what we're doing, and a lot of us are doing here at Omeda, allows us to move away from the traditional B2B advertising model and into something much greater and more exciting. Thank you.